So, today I want to talk to you guys about the two big selling companies right now. So, Warner Media is being sold off by AT&T to Discovery. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Discovery? You're like, that's weird. I didn't think Discovery had that kind of money. So, we're going to travel back a little bit. This was back in, I believe, 2015 or 16. AT&T acquired Warner Media for a sum of, let's see, $85.4 billion. And then they started, their HBO Max. They thought that, that would bring people into their cell phone plans because they would get discounts if they had AT&T, and then they could sign up for a Time Warner and have a discount. And it really didn't go the way they planned. Then the pandemic hit, and movies weren't getting released. So then they're like, all right, well, let's just release it on HBO Max, which studios were getting pissed about. Directors were getting pissed because they were thinking, hey, my movie was going to, like, there are people who, like, get a percentage of the box office, and that's actually in their contract. Like, you have these directors that took pay cuts so that way when the movie went to theaters, they would be like, all right, I get, say, 5% of the box office. And that's how they would be able to get these directors. And you would get directors like Christopher Nolan as well, who take a huge chunk of the box office. I think he gets somewhere around like 10-15% of the box office for his movies. And that pissed off a lot of directors, including partners with Warner Media. Like, you have a Lionsgate that just did this movie Dune. That movie was supposed to be released last December, and they were looking to release on HBO Max. And they're like, wait a minute, you can't do that. We just put up like half the money for this movie, and you put up the other half. Like, you can't just be like, all right, we're going to do a day and date release and release it straight onto HBO Max. So basically, AT&T just got all this backlash from all these decisions that they made. Directors didn't want to work with Warner Media anymore. Studios didn't want to partner up with them. Actors didn't want to work with them because it was the same thing. Like, they weren't getting their box office returns. It's the same thing for actors. Actors had the same thing. They got a certain percentage of the box office. And here's the other thing. They didn't consult anybody about that when they were trying to release these movies straight to HBO Max. They didn't consult the studios. They didn't consult the directors. They just announced it. Everyone found out through the media. How embarrassing is that? The only people that they talked to about this was Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot for the Wonder Woman movie. They were the only people they talked to about it. They didn't talk to Christopher Nolan. They didn't talk to James Gunn. They didn't talk to Lionsgate. They didn't talk to any of these people. So then after that, these guys were like pissed. They didn't want to work for them anymore. They're like, I'm not doing any more future movies with them. So AT&T basically backed themselves in a corner, and they're like, we're hemorrhaging money. We have all these directors and studios pissed at us. What do we do? Then Discovery comes along. Discovery wants to start a whole new company. Discovery's doing pretty well right now. Now, you might not think this, but they have a lot of subscribers on their channel. They have all the Food Network stuff. I think the CEO is doing great work, and he's developed what Bob Iger did for Disney. He put people in charge of their own departments and just run your department. No interference. Like, he didn't like interfering with any of that stuff. He got really good people and just left them in charge. And it's worked for Discovery. Their channel's booming right now. So Discovery, they want to buy Time Warner for a lump sum of $43 billion. And the funny thing about that is AT&T just bought that a few years ago for $85 billion. So you can see, so what this is going to become really is a lot of the shareholders of Time Warner are basically moving over to this new. That's basically what the point of the sale was. So they're buying it for $43 billion, and the same shareholders get to move in and become shareholders of this new company that they are trying to build, which I think it's a good move. And also, I really like what Discovery is doing. Their CEO just doing what Bob Iger did. That gives me hope for like certain movie divisions, like for instance DC Universe. Like they don't really have like a Kevin Feige of the DC Universe. Like Kevin Feige of the Marvel Cinematic Universe does a great job because he has a whole plan. He just knows his stuff. So I really hope that this new guy just implements this with Time Warner Media, like president of like HBO Max, president like of all their own networks too, like even their same channels, like they don't even have that. Like Time Warner doesn't have like it's basically just like the top honchos of the whole company and they run everything, which I don't think is working out so well, seeing how HBO Max is screwed up and they've pissed off all their directors and all of their creative talent that they have. So I think that this is a good decision for them. It's good for the shareholders. It's good for Discovery, who's buying it. It's good for also, it gives them a chance to, fix what happened with all these directors and stuff. Like they burn these bridges, but now if it's going to a new company, they can be like, hey, we're a whole different management. We're looking to make movies again, and we care about the creative mind. So I think this would be good for them. It's good for everybody. It's good for the fans. It's good for everybody. So that's what I have to say about that. Now let's get to MGM being purchased by Amazon. So Amazon purchases MGM, which is another movie studio. They're best known for doing the movies like Gone with the Wind. They did Rocky, The Hobbit, 21 Jump Street, and they even started that new Tomb Raider movie. So they actually there's a lot more too that MGM has done. They have a lot of movies. Anyway, so Amazon purchases MGM. And another movie that is with MGM is James Bond, the Bond franchise. Now, everyone's saying is like, oh, great, they got the Bond franchise. And I'm like, they do and they don't. So James Bond is actually owned by an individual family like company, and they just sell off the rights every few 10 years or something like that is whenever they do like a new movie. So back in, I want to say 2015 or 16, I know I'm saying those 2 years again, but I'm almost certain it was right around then. 2015 or 16, Sony originally had the rights to James Bond, but but their contract was up, so there was a bidding war going on, and MGM came away with James Bond. So they have James Bond. The one thing I cannot figure out, I can't find it. I can't find out how much they paid for James Bond, and I can't find out how long their contract is for. I'm sure it's out there, but the problem is whenever I look up MGM buys Bond, and then all these articles keep coming up why Amazon doesn't technically have Bond. I was like, I know that. Like, I just need to find out how long their contract is for with MGM, but I can't find it. So if I had to guess, it's probably something like a 15-year contract is what they have with them, or maybe even a 10-year contract. Or maybe it's a certain amount of movies. It could be like maybe they can only make 4 movies, and then, then it's another franchise that comes in, and another studio can come in and bid for James Bond. But that being said, Amazon buying this studio is a good move. Now, technically, The Hobbit is also a Time Warner movie. They both did a joint thing for the movie. So they both have so basically, like, Time Warner has distributing rights on The Hobbit, and MGM have distributing rights on The Hobbit. So Amazon can put The Hobbit on their streaming service, and so can vice versa Time Warner. So another big one is also the Rocky franchise. Now that's taken off again with Creed. Like they also have the rights to Creed, so that works for them as well. But the problem, like, yeah, MGM has some good movies, but they're not real. Like James Bond is so far their best blockbuster hitter that they have, but MGM's not known for being big uh hitters when it comes to box office. So it's a good move, but I mean, I forgot to say they bought them for. Let me check my notes here. They bought MGM for 8.45 billion dollars. So that's a good amount for their library. They have MGM has a lot of shows. I think that's one of the reasons why they wanted them. Again, I tried looking up their shows, couldn't find too much. Um, so yeah, those are the two big like selling points right now that's going on in the movie news world. Um, I know I haven't done a movie review in a while, but there just hasn't been anything to come out yet. And then also I was in the middle of moving and work and just a lot of stuff picking up. So, but this was something I really wanted to try and talk about. Granted, everybody probably has already heard about this news, but I thought it'd be interesting to, for all of you who don't know what's going on with all that. So, both of those deals will take about a year to go through because the government has to go through and make sure there's no monopolies. I don't think there's really a monopoly on the MGM being purchased by Amazon. MGM is a smaller movie studio company. They're not a big hitter as well as they used to be back in the old days. When I was a kid, it seemed like every movie was an MGM movie. A lot of those cartoons. Secret of Nim, I forgot. That's another MGM movie. And then another one that will probably take a while is definitely the Discovery is a smaller channel too, so that might not take too long as well. That might only take a year to go through because it's not like Amazon was buying. Now, if Amazon was buying Time Warner, that might be like a monopoly. But that's what a lot of people said about Fox too. Disney buying Fox, so it's a gray area. But I'm almost certain both these deals are going to go through. I'm more excited for the Discovery Time Warner merger that's happening. I think that's a great thing for both studios, so I'm excited for that. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I got some work to do outside. I had today off. I was supposed to take Friday off, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take today off instead. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think. I will catch you later.